Hello, everybody, and either welcome or welcome back to the Gender Libertarian Podcast. If you do like this, please rate, comment, and subscribe. You can find me on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Spotify, YouTube, Libertarian Institute, and I do also now have a Patreon page. I will put the link in the show notes. So today I want to get you guys kind of a little bit caught up on some of the things that have been going on with the current impeachment situation. And also, obviously, I have some things to say about the Syrian ceasefire that really isn't, but we'll get there at the end. But I want to go ahead and start with the impeachment news that is kind of out there right now. There's nothing really, well, there is crazy shit going on, obviously, but there's a lot of things that have been happening kind of sort of behind the scenes, but not really behind the scenes because obviously we know about them. About a week ago, maybe a week and a half ago at this point, there were rumors out there that there was going to be a second whistleblower who did have firsthand knowledge of the phone call in question, the infamous Ukrainian phone call, and possibly other things. The lawyer for the original whistleblower said that they are in contact with other people, but they're not sure that the second whistleblower that's been reported in the media is the same as the people that they are potentially representing. So there may be more information coming out on that particular angle of this whole impeachment situation, dumpster fire thing. I'm not even quite sure what to call it anymore at this point. Nancy Pelosi said that at this point, she's not holding a vote to start an official impeachment inquiry, which I interpret that as, I mean, obviously they're not stopping taking testimony from people. There are people lining up to give congressional testimony on just everything and anything involving this administration's dealings with Ukraine and just inside information. And people are just basically like scrambling to get in front of Congress so that they can say their piece, so that I'm sure at this point nobody wants to go down with this ship. So I mean, let's get while the getting's good. But I interpret Nancy's not holding a vote as either, I mean, and to be clear, I've never thought that Nancy was the biggest fan of this whole thing to begin with. So I'm viewing this as there's got to be a good reason for it, and I am wondering if Nancy knows something that we don't know. I mean, Nancy, you don't get to the point in one's career that Pelosi has by being an idiot. You do it by being incredibly smart. So if she's not holding that vote right now, I'm wondering if there is something that was said in any of this congressional testimony that she's either holding back to wait and see if it is something that's going to become public, to try to sway more votes to become yes votes for the impeachment inquiry in the House. Because I think she's about, from reports I've seen, she's maybe about 10 short. So I'm thinking there's some behind the scenes stuff going on there, which, hey, we'll see how that plays out. But on the topic of people wanting to go testify in front of Congress, and when I say Congress, I mean the House. And there's various committees that are hearing various testimonies because there are various investigations going on in the House, depending on which committee you're on as to what they're investigating. And so therefore, that depends on who these people are going to be talking to. From what I've seen, the people that have listened to the House testimony from various people, it has been bipartisan. So it's not just Democrats sitting here and listening to this testimony. There have been Republicans in the room. And yeah, a lot of the stuff that's coming out is quite interesting. But let's go ahead and start with the fact that before people started lining up to go give testimony, the Trump administration had said, and also the State Department had said, that they were not going to be allowing anybody to go give testimony before the House. That has not stopped certain people. People that have gone and given testimony are Kurt Volker, who was named in the original whistleblower complaint that kind of started this whole thing. Marie Yovanovitch, which this was the one that everybody was interested in because she was the ambassador to Ukraine who got pushed out by the Trump administration because of just basically people made shit up about her, and so they got her pushed out because she wasn't really playing ball. So her testimony was something that people were very, very interested in. Her opening statements have been made public, and an ongoing theme, not only just in her testimony, but in testimony from other people and other sources, it seems to be that all signs kind of point towards Rudy Giuliani. And she even point blank said that she was told, and that the State Department was told by Trump, that all Ukrainian business, diplomatic dealings, whatever you want to call them, are to be run through Rudy Giuliani. Which, to remind everybody, Giuliani is not an employee of the State Department or of the U.S. government at all. He is still a private citizen, and his job is to be the personal attorney to Donald Trump. So the idea that somebody who is not even not a diplomat, but not even a State Department employee, is a private citizen and is somebody who is on Trump's payroll, I'm assuming that Rudy's getting paid for this, is the one running point on what is going on with us diplomatically with Ukraine is not good. No, you can't do that. No, because I know what he's trying to do. The idea here, I bet, is that Trump seems to probably think that if he runs this through Giuliani, his personal attorney, that attorney-client privilege will stick, which does not work if you're sending somebody to operate on behalf of the United States government. You don't get to claim attorney-client privilege in that instance, because then that would be basically saying that the people of the United States would not have a right to know what exactly is going on diplomatically. And you can't do that. You can't conduct state business in that fashion. So how that's going to boil down, I don't know. But so she testified. Fiona Hill testified. She is actually on the National Security Council. She's a staffer over there. She worked closely with Marie when Marie was the ambassador to Ukraine. So she gave very long testimony. All these people gave, we're talking like 8-9 hours worth of testimony a piece with these people. Like, this is like an all-day thing. So I can only imagine the kind of stuff that you would have to talk about for that long to give a whole ass day's worth of testimony. So the one person who has point blank said that he is not going to testify, at least not without a subpoena, is Rudy Giuliani. And he's basically said they could subpoena me and then we'll see what happens. So I'm hoping they do. Because, at this point, it's really looking like Rudy's going to be the pivot point here. And I have been pointing out ever since this whole thing started that to me, it looks like Rudy is going to be made to be the fall guy for this. How exactly you would do that without implicating Trump, I don't see how at this point, because if that is the case, if Trump specifically told the State Department that you have to run this Ukrainian business, all of it through Rudy Giuliani, he can't say that he didn't know. He can't say that Rudy was acting all by himself. So, yeah, this is all just sounding so incredibly shady and messy and very, very, very swampy, which I thought we were supposed to be draining the swamp, not making it even swampier by enlisting one's private attorney to go conduct official state business. I don't know, but it's very sketchy. It's all very murky. It's very sketchy. It's very hard to keep up with at this point because it's a lot of kind of esoteric in the weed stuff, and not a lot of it is public because all of this testimony is not being done in front of the full house. It's being done behind closed doors in front of certain people. And so the things that we know are things that were either released or leaked, and we shall see what becomes of all this. But there is a lot of information being gathered by the House right now. And to bring it back to Nancy holding off on doing the vote to actually open a formal impeachment inquiry, like I said, I think she's holding back. I think she knows something that we don't know yet and is waiting for that shoe to drop to hopefully change opinion enough to make sure that she has all the votes that she needs, because you don't want to go out there and try to do a vote to open up the impeachment inquiry and fail. Like, you want to make sure you got all the votes. So I'm very curious to see how this is all going to end up playing out. But moving on from that to Mick Mulvaney utterly, completely stepping right into it. Okay, let's back up and try to explain. Mick Mulvaney right now is the acting secretary of everything, but in this particular capacity in giving this statement, he is the acting White House chief of staff. So he was giving a press conference on, I believe it was Friday, and he managed to bumble his way into point blank admitting into a mic on camera. Everybody saw this. I want to make that very clear, because the walk back on this has been surreal. But he point blank admitted that part of the reason why Trump decided to withhold aid to Ukraine was because of this stupid, dumb DNC server. Like, he point blank said it. And when he was questioned on, basically, somebody's like, did you just say what you think you just said? His response, there's going to be political influence in foreign policy. Get over it. So, to make it completely clear, he said what he said. He doubled down on what he said in the moment. But then, apparently, it got into Mulvaney's head, which, Mulvaney, of all people, like, this guy was one of the founders of the House Freedom Caucus, the absolute shit show that's turned into under Trump. But this guy has gone from being one of the founding members of the House Freedom Caucus to basically being a Trump shill. He finally figured out what he said in front of everybody, and then basically the walk back on it has been, and this is up to the Sunday morning talk shows, that he didn't say what he said. And it's like, dude, we all heard you. Like, we all saw the video. You said exactly what everybody said you said. And so there's this bizarre gaslighting campaign going on between Mulvaney and Mike Pompeo, going out on the Sunday morning talking head shows and trying to spin this away. And for what it's worth, nobody's having it. Like, nobody is fucking having it. And that makes me happy, in a way, obviously, because you can't walk that back. You can't walk back the fact that you point blank said that part of the reason why the Trump administration, and I won't even say the Trump administration, Trump held back Ukrainian aid was because of this ridiculous internet conspiracy theory that the hacked DNC server is somewhere physically in Ukraine, and that Trump seems to think that Zelensky can get it and, like, ship it to him, I guess. I don't know. This is just, like, the dumbest thing ever. And the second reason why this is just so mind-melting is the whole spin on the Ukrainian call that has come out of the Trump administration was that this wasn't really about that, and it wasn't really about, it was about corruption, and about rooting out corruption, and Hunter Biden, and Burisma. And may I remind you, for those of you who did not read the call notes, the first ask that Trump made was about the DNC server. He didn't bring up Hunter Biden or Burisma or anything else until after that conversation. That was his first ask. So my assumption is going to be that was his more important topic of what he wanted to talk to Zelensky about, more so than Hunter Biden or corruption or why the hell Hunter Biden was getting paid, I guess now it's $80,000 a month to sit around and do God knows what. I don't care. He got a job because of his last name. Every politician's child does that. Trump's children do that. Like, what the fuck? Why am I'm supposed to get upset about this? It sucks. Yes, but it's not like it's some unique ass situation. But anyway, Mulvaney just managed to completely shoot that whole narrative out of the water by spilling the beans and saying, yeah, this was about the DNC server that doesn't exist in the Ukraine. I mean, it's just, I'm still trying to wrap my head around the fact that the President of the United States circumvented Congress because this was congressionally appointed money to Ukraine. He went around them, decided that he was going to unilaterally withhold this aid that Congress approved, which, by the way, Congress, where you at on this? Like, he basically just pissed all over you. Where you at, guys? And withhold this aid over an internet rumor. Like, what world do I live in now? What the hell is going on? And like, I laugh. It's not funny. It's scary in the extreme that the president, I don't know. I don't even know how he got this into his head that the DNC server was in Ukraine. I mean, I know it's basically the explanation is that CrowdStrike, who allegedly did the hacking, was based out of Ukraine, which it seems like they were actually based out of Russia. The hackers were maybe Ukrainian. I don't know. I'm not entirely understanding how you get from the DNC server was hacked to the DNC server somehow physically made it to Ukraine. Like, I'm very confused. I don't follow this, but apparently this is what the president thinks and is withholding aid to a country based on that. I don't, what is, whoo, yeah, welcome to 2019, I guess. But yeah, so they've basically been trying to spin this away like he didn't say what he said. He said what he said. And where this leaves that, I'm not sure. But I guess it's just one more thing to add on to the pile of things where this administration has basically admitted to doing things that, are they impeachable offenses? I don't know. Is there like a tipping point where you do enough of the things that it becomes an impeachable offense? I don't know that either. Then again, I'm not a member of the House or the Senate, so nobody really cares what I think. The only people that matter are those people because they would be the ones to decide it. But at some point, you just gotta sit back and be like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, what world are we living in right now where just, it seems like every day there's something new where you just gotta sit back and be like, I live in bizarro world now. And I don't really know what to do about that. But yeah, that's pretty much where we stand on impeachment stuff. I'm sure there will be more to talk about. Always, obviously, whether or not Nancy ends up doing the vote or not, how this ends up going forward, for what it's worth. The House can open up impeachment inquiry proceedings without doing a vote. So they really don't have to. But I mean, obviously, it's a good idea because you want to get people on record as supporting it. You want to make sure that you do actually have the majority of the House support to do this, because impeachment is actually a very serious thing and should be taken seriously. And so you want to make sure you have as many people on board as humanly possible and on record as being on board, not just being kind of like in the background, you know, oh, I support it, but I don't want to put my name to it, like so many Republicans are doing now. I see you guys. I see all of the anonymously sourced reports from concerned Republicans. It's like, okay, well, how about you be concerned in public? How about you stop being concerned in private and be concerned in public and put your name to it? And hell, maybe then we could start taking you seriously. But the flip side to that is I know why. I know why you don't have a ton of Republicans who want to go on record with this, because nobody wants to take that heat. I get it. It sucks. I still do ultimately think that that is going to be the thing that dooms impeachment as a whole. And prove me wrong, Republicans. I go for it. But I'm still not convinced that this is going to be a successful endeavor. In fact, I'm pretty well convinced that it's not going to be. Whether you do it or not at this point, I mean, there's so much stuff coming out now that, I mean, I don't know. But the train has already left the station, so obviously this is going to be happening one way or the other. So I guess we'll wait and see what exactly the House decides to do with all this information. Anyway, moving on from that dumpster fire to what is going on in Syria. Now, on Thursday, it was announced that Vice President Pence and President Erdogan had come to what is being called a ceasefire. And I want to go ahead and emphasize right off the rip here, I say that Vice President Pence and President Erdogan came to this agreement. You will notice that there is somebody missing in that equation, and that would be Assad, the president of Syria, where this is happening, in his country. Yeah, just want to make that point real quick before I get into what this ceasefire is supposed to be and what it's not and how it's turned out. And yeah, what the hell are we doing here anyway? Anyway, here is the quote-unquote ceasefire. It will be a pause for 120 hours, which is 5 days for you not mathematically inclined people, while the U.S. oversees the withdrawal of the YPG, which is Kurdish fighters, just to simplify that whole situation. Once that is completed, Turkey has agreed to a permanent ceasefire. Okay, so what you're saying is that you have given Kurdish people 5 days to get the fuck out of their homes, to leave their lands and go, where? No, somewhere? That's going to be a real difficult situation because now you've got tens of thousands of people trying to get the hell out from an area that is supposed to be about 20 miles in from the Turkish-Syrian border. So you got all these people, you got 5 days to get out. Basically, leave your homes, pack your shit, get out. And then if that happens, then Turkey will agree to a permanent ceasefire. Well, yeah, it will be a ceasefire if nobody's firing on you. Dumbasses. That's not a ceasefire. That's basically get out. Leave your homes. Or what's going to happen? Well, you could take a wild guess because obviously this is all contingent upon once that is completed, which nobody seems to be making any kind of contingencies for what happens if Kurdish people are like, well, fuck you, I'm not leaving my home. I'm not going anywhere. What do you think Turkey's going to do then? They're not going to throw them a party. It's not going to be like a tea social. They're going to start firing on them. They're going to start killing them. They want the Kurds gone from this area because they have a group of people that they want to resettle into the area, which means the Kurdish people have to be somewhere else. And if they don't go there willingly, do you think Turkey's just going to be like, oh, well, okay, I guess guess this was a bad idea, huh? No. It's abundantly clear what Turkey's going to do to Kurds who don't leave. Like, I don't understand why anybody wants to applaud this, but that is what is supposed to pass for a ceasefire, which didn't even last 24 hours. I mean, even per Trump himself on his own damn Twitter feed said that, oh, Erdogan told me there's still minor skirmishes going on. Like, minor skirmishes aren't supposed to be happening in a ceasefire, dumbass. A ceasefire means you cease firing. If there is still firing going on, then guess what? Your ceasefire isn't a ceasefire. So, no ceasefire, really. And so, I'm not entirely sure what's going to happen on day 6 to anybody who is still in this area who hasn't left or couldn't leave, because, I mean, you can't give people 5 days. 5 days. You're supposed to pack up your whole life and go God knows where. Like, what kind of time frame is that? That's nuts. That's not even remotely anything close to a time frame where you're going to be able to get everybody out in a safe and orderly fashion, or at least those who want to leave. Because like I said, I am sure there will be plenty of Kurds who are not going to leave. Because would you? I mean, if an invading army came into your city and said, guess what? You got 5 days to pack up all your stuff and go move somewhere. We don't care where, just somewhere not here. I mean, what are you going to do? This whole thing just blows my mind. And to bring it back around to the point that I was making when I first started talking about this, which is that Assad was not part of negotiating this ceasefire-ish thing, which, I'm sorry, wait, no. I thought the whole idea here was that we were removing troops from this area because that's not our border, and this isn't our conflict, and the Turks and the Kurds have all this sand to play in. Trump actually said that. Wow, like this is some kind of schoolyard fight and not something that's going to get a lot of people killed. But okay, if that is your stance, then what the hell is Pence doing negotiating with Erdogan about what the hell is going to happen on Syrian land? Can somebody explain that to me? I mean, if it's not our border and it's not our problem and we are non-interventionalists and it's not our place to intervene, what the fuck kind of non-interventionalist is this? That's intervening. That's totally intervening. That's intervening on the side of Turkey. I'm just like, what the hell? I hate using this word because it's been used to death by people who use it and fling it around, not really understanding the meaning of it. But this is the height of American imperialism. To go and not even invite Assad. Like, Assad's not even part of this negotiation for what's going to happen on land in his country. He's not even in the conversation. Nobody asked him, the president of Syria, hey, what would you like to see happen in your country? Even Tulsi did a great Twitter thread on this, pointing out that we just gave away land that wasn't ours to give. Syria is not a part of the United States. That's not our place. We had no business making that deal with Erdogan. If Assad wanted to make that deal with Erdogan, sure, that's your business. It's your country. You're the president. But how the hell do you square we're leaving this particular area because it's not our place to get involved, and then turn around and negotiate a deal like that? Really? Really? Okay. Yeah. And to make matters worse, it came out today what the actual plan is for the troops that were stationed in that area of northern Syria. Are they coming back home? Nope. They are going to go to western Iraq, where they will still be hanging out and doing counterterrorism and still fighting ISIS when needed. So, yeah, not bringing a single troop home. Not a one. Which is why I was so mad when I did my episode on this situation in the first place, because this is not, people keep talking about, oh, this is what Trump campaigned on. He's going to bring the troops home. Really? I'm still waiting. I'm waiting for a troop to be brought home. I'm waiting for, not only for a troop to be brought home, I'm waiting for us to not send more troops to the Middle East. We've sent 14,000 troops to the Middle East since May. The president promised to send troops to Saudi Arabia because they're going to give us money. I'm sorry, when is this non-interventionalist president going to show up? Where is he? Is he hiding? Is he under the Resolute somewhere? Like, where is he? Where is all this non-intervention? Where is all this bringing the troops home? Where is all this ending the forever wars? I'm not seeing it. Am I missing something? Because I see a lot of people trying to cheerlead this shit, and I'm side-eyeing a hell of a lot of people right now. A hell of a lot of people who, first off, want to try to trumpet this as if it's some kind of win for non-interventionalism. Not even once mentioning Saudi Arabia. Not even once mentioning the fact that the president just promised more troops to Saudi Arabia. Not a fucking peep. And then this, we're not bringing any troops home. We're not stopping any forever wars. We're just standing aside and letting another war kick off. I'm sorry, what? I'm not seeing anything to cheerlead here, people. I'm not. There's nothing here. There's nothing to be happy about. What, American troops aren't going to end up dead because Turkey? Okay, I guess that kind of remains to be seen, to be completely honest. I don't get it. I genuinely don't get it, guys. And I know there's a lot of people who are very thirsty for anything approaching a win for non-interventionism in the Middle East. I get it. This ain't it at all. So, I really don't understand all the seal clapping. I don't get it. I see nothing to applaud here. Not a tick. And the funny thing is sending the troops over to Western Iraq. This is how I read this, and I hope I'm wrong. But I have a sneaking suspicion that I'm right. Those troops are going to sit right over there until shit gets really bad in northern Syria. And then they're going to get deployed right back in to fix it. To go clean up the mess that the president just made. That's how I view that. So, yeah, we ended nothing. Nothing was ended. Nothing was won. Nothing was brought home. Yeah, that's about it. Like I said, I don't understand people who want to cheerlead this like it's something, like we accomplished something. We didn't accomplish shit. In fact, we involved ourselves in something that really we probably shouldn't have. And yes, I know we shouldn't have been in Syria in the first place and that we need to bring troops home. Yes, I understand that. I wish that's what was happening. But it's just not. So I don't understand. I don't get it. I don't know. But anyway, on that note, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. So if you did make it this far, thank you as always. And if you do like this, please rate, comment, and subscribe. You can find me on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Spotify, YouTube, Libertarian Institute, and on my Patreon page. Take care, and until next time.